Welcome back. I think I spent close to 3 hours working on this piano after I shut the camera off. It's very time consuming, and I'm really glad we're getting into the home stretch with this project. It's been a very long one. So what we have left to do is the keyboard, the pedals, the ground, the stones, and the bricks over here. Now with the keyboard, my caution is this is not a new piano. You don't want it to look like it just came off the production line. It's been outdoors, it's very rickety. The keys, some are pushed down, some are stuck up, some are, it's all wavy. So don't fret that you have to get these keys exactly like it would look on a new piano, because unless that's how you want your picture, but it's not how the photograph was. So I'm going to start with black. I'm zooming in on the photo. Let me see if you can see it. I'm zooming in. This is my Kindle. I'm zooming in on the keyboard on the original photo. And you can see it's wavy. The black keys I can see are there, but I can't tell that there's groupings of 3 and 2 and 3 and 2 or however it's supposed to go. There are some big gaps in between the keys where the keys are loose fitting and just don't work anymore. There's a piece of black, something stuck up here. So really what we're trying to do here is just create a suggestion of a keyboard. I can see little places where the black keys are highlighted. I can see more of the keys on the left side of the piano than I can over here on the right. They look shorter because they're further away. So with that being said, let's tackle this. I'm using black, and I'm just going to pencil over what I did with the watercolor, and then put some highlight marks in. A little bit of black shading just behind the keys as well. Some of the highlight marks are lighter than others. I'm going to start with a light gray. I've got cool gray 20% here. That looks good for that one. This third key has a brighter highlight. Made that a little bit too big. I'm just going to trim that down with black. And I'm going to use, I think, dark brown maybe to put the lines in between the keys to create that little space that's between some of them. There's black pretty much all along this line right here, but this is what displays the waviness of the keyboard. So as we go along with this, we want to create it to be wavy. We don't want to take a ruler and draw a straight line across here, because that's not how this is. It goes down, it goes up. until you get to the end here, and then there's something that's just very dark here. I can't really tell what it is, but it goes off to an angle, and there's quite a bit of shading underneath it. Now I can't see all of this black in this section of the keyboard. It starts out a little bit here. Changes from a black to a brown, picking up dark umber. Okay. Back to the black for the black keys. This is the fourth key from the left. It looks like something's gone wrong with it. It's stuck down or something. Some of these lines, I'm sorry, I'm using sandbar brown. Some of the lines between the keys are thicker than others. I can see them more on the left side than I can on the right side, again, because the left side of the piano is closer. Quite a bit of black. Here. Picking up white. It's as if this key right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the sixth key from the left almost looks like it's down lower than the key next to it, because I can see the side of this key next to it. And then from about here up to the center of the piano, it really just looks like there's black key after black key. They are darker on the bottom and at an angle. It's almost like a dusty look on the top of them. I'm going to try sandbar brown. And there's just a little bit of a highlight. I'm going to warm gray 30%. No, that's not light enough. Let's see. How about some ginger root? That's too light. I'll find the right one eventually. I'm going to go back over that with some black because that got too bright. There's a little bit of dark shading above all of these black keys. So I'm using very light pressure to just put a light wash of black behind here. That's going to go the whole way across. There's 2 screw holes I'm seeing here. And this dark shading could be enhanced with black. Up next to this, near this second screw hole here, the keys get very out of shape. Sharpening blade. Let's see, from here, we'll come over a few keys and there's like a black square there, and then there's also 3 in a row here. Couple more of these this way. Okay, now we need to put some highlights. Using sandbar brown to make these light lines between the keys to separate them. Back to the highlight, which is 20% cool gray. Using the 20% cool gray to make some of these keys grayer so they don't look shiny and new. Going on top of the lines that I put in before to blend them down a little bit. They're too noticeable. I need a little bit more definite division between the keys here. A little bit more black shading underneath. Just trying to cover up little white bits of the paper that are still showing here. This is pretty dark back here. I'm going to take some dark brown. No, it's not, I don't like that. I'm going to go to 50% warm gray. That seems a bit better. And I'm noticing this black line is really straight and it doesn't quite appear that way in the photo, so I'm just going to go back on top of this and make some thick and thin areas within the line. And as well, there's a light edge on the very bottom of this that kind of got, I don't know what happened. I must have colored it, all of it in, and I really shouldn't have, because the stain is worn off. And this piece of wood here at the top and the bottom of this piece of wood, pretty consistently the whole way across, but not straight like with a ruler. Sorry, I'm using eggshell to do that. And there's dark and light areas all across here with all different colors. Even something a little bit reddish, so I'm going to pick up burnt ochre, a little bit of it, put some of that in. Same goes for this piece up here. Pick up some bronze and put some of that in here too. Looking for big, oh, here it is. Quite a pinky area right here. I'm using beige sienna. That kind of goes almost all the way along the bottom edge of this piece of wood. I'm going to put some on the lower piece as well. little bit up on this piece too. I think in general this piece could use more pencil on it. I think I was getting pretty tired when I last worked on this. Let's see, I'm going to use bronze. Up on this piece. Just have a moderate pressure going here. This section has quite a bit of this yellowish cast to it. Picking up 30% warm gray just to reinforce this grayish edge at the bottom of this piece of wood. Put some of that up here too. Using sepia, I'm going to reinforce the wood grain look here. There's quite a bit of wavy wood grain on this particular piece. I'm going to come back with some sepia. That's not dark enough. I'm going to use, let's try dark umber. Let's try dark umber in here because this is a pretty dark area of stain still left on the wood. And it's peeled away or worn off down here where this pink is. But it's very ragged and uneven. And I'm switching to sepia because it's not as pronounced over here as it is here. Okay, I think I'm happy with the keyboard area. We'll come back and do the petals and the ground. Okay, moving on to the petals. Making sure you can see it. I'm going to start with bronze. I'm going to shade that with dark umber. coming along the edge here, that there's black shading behind the petal. Now I'm going to take black. I'm going to go to the outside so that it's on the wood behind the petal. Okay, and this is too stripy. I got to either blend these or go in with halftones or something so that it just looks like there's a sheen to this and not the way it looks right now. Let's see. Would be good. I'm gonna try 50% French gray. In this middle section here. I'm going to try some light umber on here as well. There's so much shadow. You really can't see much highlight on these petals. Helped, but I still don't, it still just doesn't read right to me. It's too warm, too something. It's hard for me to identify this color. Try some sepia. Knocking out the highlight. I'm going to replace those. Back to eggshell. The light is hitting these petals the strongest right at the very top. right at the very top of the petal is where it's brightest. And then it fades, so I'm lightening up my pressure considerably as I come down the front of the petal. And by the time you get down into the lower foot part of the petal, you can't barely see what's going on down there. This last one especially, I have the whole foot of the petal too light. It needs to go darker. So I'm going to put a glaze, which means very light pressure, like a wash of black on top of that. Maybe part of the problem too is I've got the wood too light behind them and it's creating too much contrast. So I'm going to go back in with sepia and try to darken some of that. I'm going to come right up to the edge. I think that helped. We don't want to draw a lot of attention to the petals because it's very shadowy down there. I'm hoping you can see this. Okay, now we've got this little section right here, right down here. I haven't done anything with that yet except watercolor, and I'm thinking I would like to put in not just greenery but an indication of some little flowers with that pinky color so that I'm carrying the pinky color to another spot in the painting. I've got pinky up here in the sign and in this bouquet, but nothing on this entire half of the painting has that. So I think we need to put something in there. So before I get any more colored pencil on here, I don't want to have the same flowers that are in here, but other flowers with the same color. You could put the same flowers if that's what you would like to do. And I'm picking out the spots where it was lighter to begin with, so it's easier to get the color in here. It's just random. Okay, now some greenery. I'm going in with dark green. I'm going to color some of that around in here. And now a medium green. This is Kelly green. vaguely penciling in leaf shapes. Sap green light. Lime peel. Spring green. I'm going to give the flowers a little bit of shading. I'll start with raspberry, see how we do with that. A little bit of white highlight. I'm feeling like I need something darker. Black cherry I'm going to try. Darken down some of this greenery. Perhaps some violet blue. I'm going right over these back flowers here, as I feel they would be in the shade. And as it comes forward, comes out in the sun. I like that. But let's make it even a little bit lighter. I'm thinking too, I would like to put more shadow down this wall that we had used. There we go. Here it is. We had used Blue Violet Lake over on the other part of the wall, so I'm going to give that just a light wash of Blue Violet Lake just to cool it down and send it back behind the piano. Very, very light pressure. You can see my hand way back on the pencil. So what I need to fix is the transition from the sun to the shade. It's bothering me now. So I'm going to take just a little bit of weight and start to tickle it down here at the top. Almost like the sun is can only go so far. And I think that I will backfill over here. Hopefully that helps to make the transition look better. And so now what we have left is stones and dirt and bricks. And I'll be back.